Hello, welcome to another App Store optimization session with Incipia. Today's topic is going to be another live ASO review. We're going to be looking at apps that return for a couple keyword searches, one in the App Store and one in the Play Store. We'll be doing this from a computer, but just keep in mind that you'll want to do this from the native device that your app is. So you want to do it from an iPhone or an iPad or an Android device as appropriate to get the true sense of what it's going to look like in a mobile device. Here we're going to see more results return than you're going to see in an iPhone, but an iPad will have more results in a larger view than an iPhone, and Android will have its own nuances as well. So you want to do those from a native device, but it's easy to figure out what apps return using a keyword search in the online store. So one thing that we notice at first is just some icons. What are the different icons that are returning for these apps? We see that red is a very popular color. A bit of an outlier here with that and here. But bottles and glasses are another popular piece of imagery to use for this. A couple apps use lettering. There's some grapes as well. But also simple colors. You'll notice that in the Play Store you may have some more complexity in the color scheme than in the App Store, but two colors here, two colors, a couple more than two colors here, but simplicity seems to work really well in the App Store, and we'll see when we get to the Play Store. You'll also want to look and see what are the keywords in the titles here. So this is a head term, wine, and so it's probably going to be one of the most popular keywords for any of these apps in this niche. So they're most likely all going to have wine in the title. And this is true. But you also want to see what are the other keywords that they have in the title. These are the keywords that these apps are attempting to rank for. Scanner, searcher, this is the name of the brand. This may be as well, Wine Spectator. If we dive in here, we can see the expanded title. Recommendations, scanner, ratings, okay, and guide. So when studying apps that return for a keyword, look at the keywords in the title, and that's going to give you the best sense of what those apps are trying to rank for, because the title is the best place to rank for keywords. And you're not able to see what apps return for, or what keywords are in the keywords field for iOS apps, but I'll teach you a trick here. It's better if you do the trick in the native device. I haven't done it on a computer before, but type in, if you want to figure out whether an app is using a keyword in their keywords field, or you're pretty sure that they are, the trick is to type their brand name, so Spectator or Wine Spectator, and then type the keyword that you think they may be ranking for. So let's say scanner. So we think they're going to be ranking for the word scanner, and they are not. The trick works by the fact that, for the most part, Apple combines keywords together from your title, keyword space, in-app purchases, and developer name. And so if you find one or two keywords, the brand name that the app should always return for, and you add one other word, one other keyword or phrase even, then you can be pretty sure that if the keyword that you've created from the brand name and something else doesn't return the app, then it's probably not something that the app is ranking for. No. Okay, so that's a little trick to guess your way into whether an app is using a keyword in keyword space or not. So another thing that you're going to want to do is to look at each of these apps in the category and country rankings. So we have Vino Wine Scanner. Oh, there we go. Looks to be a Danish app. So we use several tools at once. We've got App Tweak. We also use Mobile Action for analyzing keywords and doing research. But App Annie is pretty easy for its charts. We like the fact that it's free that you can just pop in and take a look at an app and see what its category rank is, even down to the hour. That's pretty nice. So real time. See that they were ranking for a little bit in the US overall, that they released an update. You'll see what the old title and the new title is if they change the title during an update, and there's plenty of other things. App Annie is kind of like, its monetization model is kind of like in-app purchases. About 5% of people will purchase an in-app purchase, 95% will not. App Annie, its paid tier, I think it starts at 5 figures per year, and it can get pretty expensive. So most people use its free tier, but a few people will use its paid tier, and perhaps 5% convert, and it's good business for App Annie. They've raised hundreds of millions of dollars, so it must be a good business. So by looking at the app and their rank, and you can also look at their total number of reviews, and you can actually see the reviews here, and this is pretty nice. And you can see the number of ratings and all that in the App Store, but what you can't see is the trend, the volume of ratings over a certain period of time that they're getting. So this is good to know. How many ratings does your app really need to drive in order to be competitive with this particular app? So they're driving more than 50 per day, and at a pretty good star rating as well. So they're pretty incumbent at their position at number one, unless someone else is potentially able to drive hundreds of reviews per day. Reviews are one factor that factor into keyword rankings, both in Google and iOS. But the most important thing is to have a high rating, followed by rating volume. So anyway, looking at the category rank tells you how many downloads is this app getting, because this is the most important factor for the iOS, for the App Store, is downloads. So more downloads and your rank goes up compared to the competitors. More revenue generated and your rank goes up compared to competitors. However, you will notice this dip here where Apple did a little bit of reshuffling temporarily. Could have been a bug, could have been an update that was pulled back. They gave a little more a little more ranking power to paid apps rather than apps that monetize through subscriptions. Subscriptions are giving Apple a headache, given that subscription apps have a competitive advantage in generating consistent revenue over paid apps. So Apple will probably do something again soon to rebalance the top grossing charts. So looking at the top grossing, it lets you know how competitive this app is. They're not consistently scoring a top US overall ranking, and we can actually see that their ranking was better before, and they're not as competitive these days. So capturing the top spot from Vivino Wine Scanner these days is going to be easier than it was before. But if you see this trend going the opposite direction, and let's say that we were here, and we're seeing their US overall increase, we know that it's going to be more difficult to capture that spot from them because they're getting more competitive. More people are downloading this app. Now, granted, keyword ranks do consider, above everything else, downloads from that particular keyword, wine in this case, more than downloads in the app overall, and we don't know where these downloads are coming from. But overall downloads will produce a halo effect on keyword rankings, where if an app is more popular overall and it's getting around the same number of downloads from a keyword, then it will bump another app that is getting the same number of keywords and fewer downloads overall. So again, the main purpose is just to, let's say, Wine Spectator, check out your competition and see how powerful they are in terms of overall rankings, and therefore how many downloads or where in the ranking, in the top chart rankings, does your app maybe need to be in order to bump them off for that keyword. And we're looking at the top apps here. Interesting. So there's a pretty large difference between position 1 and position 3 here. Wine Spectator is in the hundreds for the category chart, and they've never ranked in the U.S. overall. However, Vivino wine was in the top U.S. charts. So this also tells us that if we look at another keyword and we see that the position 3 for that other keyword has an app in position 3 that does have U.S. overall rankings, then we know that that other keyword is going to be more competitive to pop into top spots for. So of course, another thing you want to do is to look at your competitors' rankings for a keyword over time. Let's see for why, there we go. So they're pretty darn steady in their ability to capture number 3 or number 4, meaning that less variability in this graph for an app's rank on a keyword over time means that it's going to be harder to bump them off of that keyword. A smooth line indicates more inertia and an ability to prevent movement because it's fended off all the competition thus far, and it actually was only ranking about 4th on average in this earlier time period, and now they're ranking 3rd. So we may expect to see them go up to 2nd, depending on what the app in number 2 is doing, so Delectable Wines. So downloads on the keyword are important. That's the most important factor, but if you want to try and improve your relevance, which can sometimes bump apps out of higher positions and move your way up the ranks, starting down in the 50s and moving to the 40s, make sure that your keyword is found in the title. That's the best place to rank. So if your keyword wine is found in the title and there's an app in 50th where the keyword is not found in the title, overall, all things equal, you're going to be more relevant than them, and you're probably going to bump them for a spot. So we can see here that Delectable Wines there is no movement in their keyword rank, so it will probably be pretty hard for Wine Spectator to bump them for wine for position 2, unless Wine Spectator is able to improve the conversion rate from this keyword and over time overcome Delectable Wines' score on wine. The score is made up of all different things from reviews sourced from this keyword, or ratings sourced from this keyword, the rating star count sourced from this keyword, the download sourced from this keyword, perhaps click-through rate, conversion rate factor into things, retention rate also factors in. There are many, many things that do factor for an app's score for a keyword, but downloads from that keyword is one of the most important. So you also want to go in and take a look at some of the screenshots that these apps are using. It looks like they've got a custom background, which is nice. And see, there are a couple approaches when you're looking to get into a particular keyword. One is to see what's working best and to imitate that. So using a red icon, red font for your captions, a white background, a picture of a wine bottle being scanned, ratings. And imitation is a safe, more often than not, a safe route to go, given that that imitation works. The top apps are using those particular characteristics of their app, and so it's kind of safe. The other route to go is to differentiate, and differentiating is more risky, given you're trying something that hasn't really been proven to work, and it may work, it may not work, but it could produce good results because it'll help you stand out. When people are looking and flipping through the keyword results, if your app stands out, such as with the splash page, that's pretty much the biggest reason to use a splash page, to catch attention. You may be able to draw users to your app listing rather than stopping in any of the other listings just because you stand out more. And then it's up to your screenshots It's up to your reviews, it's up to your description to convert people once you've captured their attention. So just look at what other apps are doing. So we've got a bulleted feature list here. That's always nice. Social proof in the top, the App Store editor's notes. Those are, of course, nice as well. They've got 20 million wine lovers, more social proof, #1 app today. A use cases bulleted list. That's pretty nice as well. They have the white space between everything, which I'm a big fan of, rather than putting things in giant text blocks where we all know that people don't really read these days. So, so go ahead and take a look at each of the apps and just see what they're doing, what keywords are they using, how many reviews are they getting, what are people in the reviews saying. We've got a post about mining reviews for insights, or not a post, rather a video that you can check out. Looks like they're doing a splash page here, sort of splash page, where it's a different image that tries to catch attention more so than anything else. It's got the white background. Oh, it's a bumper. Interesting. Pretty nice design. Screenshots are, you'd be surprised. It's sometimes a very well designed screenshot. For example, poster frame, the connected first and second screenshots does worse than just a regular old screenshot. So try things, be adventurous, but don't assume just because you think you've done a good job, but the design is good, that it's going to perform better. Look at the conversion rate before and after you've made the change, and use data to inform your decision of whether it was a good or not change. Use A/B testing, of course, as well. Google Play Experiments is a great place for that, although be aware that screenshots do not show in an Android, Google Play Android search, while they do in an iOS search, meaning that a screenshot test may not produce the same results or anywhere close to the same results in Android versus iOS. Some more social proof. Got a little paragraph here. We got the capitalized call outs with the bullets below. Not bad. What people are saying. Funny. A shorter description, if you'll see. So sometimes these work, shorter descriptions. Sometimes it's better to put more stuff in here. So yeah, go through and check everything out. Look at the app's category and country ranking to see how competitive they are. Look at their ranking for that particular keyword to see how easy it will be to get into that keyword. Yeah, so let's switch over to the Play Store. So it looks like we've got almost the same shakeout. The Wine Spectator taking a dive. So as you'll notice, compared to the App Store, the trend of simple icon design, 2 colors, is not represented or not mirrored in the Play Store. We've got the first 2 with simple color, and then we've got some more mixing up, and even this one is very complex, and this one, things are a lot different. And what's also different is the keyword ranks, the keyword algorithm. Google's keyword algorithm is very complex. We went into, in our last video, some of the ways that you can try to influence it, but be aware that Google factors in lots and lots of crazy different things than Apple. It's not very simple to determine which apps show up in the top here. But again, one of the most important factors for ranking is how many downloads you're getting. However, just recently, on the, I think, 27th of February 2017, the Google Game blog, or Google Play Game Developers blog, released a post saying that they were going to be considering retention and engagement and reviews from in their algorithm to a much larger degree than just downloads overall. And they didn't specify whether this was for the top charts or for the keyword rankings. They just said their algorithm. So we could assume that it's going to be affecting both to some degree. They didn't specify also whether the retention data is going to be more important than total downloads. We'll see as the data shakes out. But reportedly this has been happening for non-game apps for some time. So game apps, just recently this changed for non-game apps. It seems that it's been in play for a while now. So just be aware that not only getting a lot of downloads, but also retaining your downloads is going to be important for both Apple. That's a factor that we've identified to some degree, but more important for Google. So again, check out your competition. Look at some of the competition in App Annie or whatever other App Tweak or Mobile Action, whatever other tool that you like to use. Dive in, see what keywords are in the title. You have fewer characters to use in the Google Play title, so be aware of that. But look at their short description, look at their feature graphic, look at this in an actual mobile device, see what their captions are, see if their screenshots are different from iOS versus Android. See if they're using font, what is going on in their description, how it works, like this section. Stats, this is pretty cool. I like this. We might have to give this a test in one of our apps. They're doing a lot of font formatting, which is a very good way to improve your conversion rate, because it focuses people's eyes on the right things. Bold, underlined, great for headers. Bolded, things that you want people to really focus in on the feature with a longer description. Yes, so this is a pretty nice description. You're also going to want to look at what are the keywords in this description. So you can say, how many times are they mentioning the word wine? Quite a few. Let's see how many of the next best app. Whoop. Delectable. How many times do they mention the word wine? Looks like both of these are editor's choice, so that's going to be some pretty stiff competition. Got a 4.4 star rating here. Yeah. So in Google, it's actually more important to locate keywords in the above the full description, or the first 5 lines, than later on in the copy. So that's one thing to consider. Looks like they also have a very short. They have a short description. So sommeliers. This is interesting. They just repeated this. This actually looks like a mistake. I don't think that they're really trying to get a lot of people searching sommelier. How do you even spell this word? I should know. But they're probably ranking pretty well for this. Okay. So, yeah, just go through and look at your competition, because that's who you're going to be competing with. Look at how strong they are in terms of downloads from their category ranks. Look at what keywords they're optimizing for. Look at what their icon looks like, their screenshots. See what's good and whether you want to imitate some of it, and whether you want to differentiate and try something different for some of it as well. Figure out what keywords they're ranking for, and use all this information in your own App Store optimization efforts. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get updates. Follow us on Twitter @IncipiaCo to get updates as well. Go to our blog incipia.co/posts to see when we post new things. And then subscribe to our email, where we send out a weekly digest of posts that we've created, as well as posts from around the web. Often we pull in some good articles that help you with your app marketing, not just your App Store optimization, and just good things to be aware of in general as well. So thanks. We'll see you again soon.